Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you for joining SAP Transportation Management training by Shiv Shankar. First, it's me, intro. It's me, Shiv Shankar, practitioner of self-hypnosis in NLP way back 2000s. Hence, I know across the globe, the personalities, like there are three types of personalities, visual, kinesthetic, and auditory. Out of that, 75% population across the globe falls under visual. Hence, my training more focused on visual training. I mean, show and tell approach. Apart from that, I'm a passionate of training. Coming to the SAP, I have 2 decades of SAP experience. Started with sales and distribution and expanded myself to material management, logistic execution, warehouse management of SAP ERP as well as Forana, and then further elevated myself to extended warehouse management, transportation management, and yard logistics. I'm an SAP authorized trainer for SAP education and adoption, deliver multiple corporate trainings across the globe to say a product-based companies like RD or PepsiCo, DKSH, etc. Apart from the consulting companies like Wipro, TCS, etc. And I deliver structured curriculum with the training deck, and I also have a job-oriented training, and my training is always with a training deck, provide SAP certification support. So post this training, I request everyone go for the certification so that it is add feather on your hat. Along with that, we will be talking on day-to-day living stories, like this particular function, how you can relate into day-to-day so that you can understand the functionality very well. Apart from industry vertical stories, when I say industry vertical stories, you will be knowing if it's automobile industry, how this particular function can be implemented. If it's a pharma, how? If it is a retail, how? If it's for FMCG, how those industries, the best practices can be implemented in the respective industry, because each industry is different and each industry has its own business case to implement SAP TM and respective functionalities within the TM. And along with that, you'll be knowing 5 Ws, the what, where, when, who, why of the functionalities. Now, quickly, let's see what is meant by business and enterprise, because everything we are discussing about the enterprise. The business is a specific activity or organization aimed for profit, whereas an enterprise often signifies a larger, more complex organization. It can include non-profit, and innovative objectives. So example, the business could be a retail store or freelance services, whereas enterprise, it's a global corporation or government organization. And the businesses generally, they don't use the term kind of IT. Yeah. Whereas the enterprise, they use the software like enterprise resource planning, customer relationship management, SRM, Ariba. There are many solutions. Now, as we have seen, what is meant by business and enterprise. Now let's talk about history of the transportation. Now we are here to discuss about to learn and understand what is meant by transportation. So first of all, we need to know why the transportation and why we need to discuss or learn about the transportation management. Let's talk about the chapter 1, the dawn of trade. Dawn of trade, when we say dawn of trade, it's ancient times in the 1700s, long before like aeroplanes and trucks and container ships. Ancient civilization relied on camel caravans, wooden carts, and sailing ships for trade. The Silk Road, we used to call as a China to Europe, and maritime space routes connected continents, allowing goods like spices, silk, and gold to move across vast distances. The key modes of transport in this chapter is camels and horses, those used for land trade routes, and rowboats and sailing ships. They are used for early maritime trade routes, and hand carts and wagons used for local goods movements. In this era, like 1400s, the age of exploration, like Columbus and Vasco da Gama, expanded a sea trade connecting Europe, Africa, and Asia. Now let us discuss about Chapter 2, Industrial Revolution and Railways, started in 1800s to and early 1900s. With the rise of factories, with the rise of factories in Europe and America, the demand of raw materials and finished goods skyrocketed, and railways transformed logistics, making land transport faster, cheaper, and more reliable. The key developments in this era are steamships replaced sailing ships for faster ocean freight, and railroads connected cities, enabled mass production and urbanization. An invention of refrigeration allowed perishable goods to be transported. Then the turning point in this era, the transcontinental railroad in the 1869 USA and Suez Canal 1869 Egypt revolutionized trade, reduced transport times drastically. Now let us discuss about Chapter 3, Rise of Trucks and Highways. As cities expanded and trucks became the backbone of domestic logistics, the construction of highways like US Interstate Highway System 1950s made trucking faster and more efficient. The key developments, I would say, is the Ford model 1960, 1908 enabled mass production of vehicles, and the first refrigerated trucks 1925 revolutionized food logistics, and World War II between 1939 to 1945 military logistics advancements, air transport developments happened. In this era, I would say turning point would be Interstate Act, Interstate Highway Act, 1956 USA boosted road transport, making trucking the dominant domestic logistics mode. Now, Chapter 4, Containerization and Globalization, 1960s and 1990s. Where before the 1960s, the shipping was very slow and it is inefficient. The cargo was loaded manually, taking days to move goods onto ships. Like enter Malcolm McLaren, who invented the modern shipping container in 1956, revolutionizing global logistics. In this era, containerization has come, standardized shipping and reduced costing, and Boeing 747, which is introduced in the 1970s, because of that, air cargo become viable for high value goods. And just-in-time manufacturing, like Toyota need just-in-time manufacturing in 1980s, lean supply chains emerged. Like in this era, the turning point would be ports like Singapore, Rotterdam, and Los Angeles became global shipping hubs, making trade cheaper and more accessible. If we talk about the Chapter 5, e-commerce and high-speed logistics in between 2000s and 2020s. With the rise of Amazon, Alibaba, and global e-commerce, logistics had to become faster and smarter. The key developments would be the same day delivery like Amazon 2020, 2010s, the warehousing and automation improved, and drones and autonomous vehicles 2020s, the future of last mile delivery, and green logistics in 2020s, electric trucks and sustainable initiatives. The turning point in this era is the COVID-19 forced supply chains to become more resilient, accelerating digital transformation in logistics. Now, the future. Chapter 6, AI, blockchain, and Hyperloop in the 2030s and beyond. The next frontier in logistics will be fully automated, AI-driven, and carbon neutral. The future trends would be AI-powered supply chains, predictive analytics and automation, Hyperloop and electric trucks, faster, cleaner transportation, blockchain logistics, full transparency in shipping. Finally, logistics has evolved from camel caravans to AI-powered supply chains. The futures will be faster, smarter, and greener. Now, if you talk about AI, predictive analytics, the smart supply chain, autonomous vehicles and drones are going to come in the 2030, and green logistics and supply chain, green logistics and sustainability, the net zero supply chain, hyperloop and high speed logistics. It means the 1 hour global supply chain. It's going to come in future. The future transportation involves will redefine the speed and efficiency in logistics. Like if you say hyperloop freight, I mean Virgin Hyperloop, like Tesla, cargo pods will travel 700 mph, reducing international shipping times drastically. Like if you say supersonic cargo planes, which going to boom supersonic and SpaceX starships aim to deliver goods globally within hours. Within hours, huh? And underground delivery networks are going to come, like Amazon and Alibaba started exploring automated underground tunnels for instant e-commerce deliveries. And as we know, Dubai already started testing Hyperloop cargo transport to cut freight transit times from days to minutes. And if you talk about blockchain and smart contracts, blockchain will eliminate fraud, improving tracking, and automate supply chain contracts. And tamper-proof records, like every shipment is secured, recorded on a blockchain ledger. And smart contracts means automated payments when shipments reach destinations, real-time visibility, full transparency of suppliers, manufacturers, and customers. Like suppose if you take Merck trade lines, Merck trade lanes, blockchain platform in is digitalizing global container shipping, reducing fraud and paperwork. More importantly, I would say supply chain resilience, preparing for the next global crisis. As I said, post-COVID, businesses are focusing on resilient, flexible supply chains. Diversification is also coming up, like companies are shifting from China-dependent manufacturing to multi-sourcing countries like Vietnam, Mexico, Africa, India, etc. And also the companies going with the nearshoring, bringing production closer to the home to avoid shipping disruptions, and task, real-time risk monitoring, AI, artificial intelligence detects supply chain risks before they happen. So example, I would say, if you take Apple, is moving some iPhone production from China to India and Vietnam to reduce dependency. In conclusion, I would say the future of the logistics would be smart, fast, and sustainable. AI and automation and sustainability and blockchain will drive logistics into the future, and companies must adapt to stay competitive in an evolving supply chain landscape. The future is all about speed, efficiency, and resilience. That's a history of the TM. Now let us see what is the transportation. Transportation evolved from there to here, from camel to AI, camel caravans to the latest digitalization. And now transportation or transport refers to the international movement of humans, animals, and goods from one location to another. Modes of transport include air, land. When I say land, it could be rail or road, the water, cable, pipelines, and space. The field. The field can be divided into infrastructure, vehicle, and operations. Transportation is crucial to a country's economy and the growth and development of its society. Now, transportation have four pillars. One is order, another is plan, and another is execute and settlement. Now, when we say order, plan, and execute and settlement, once we place the order, we plan. Now, once there is an order, we plan, execute, and settle. Now, let's go to the workbook. Imagine, now you see the picture here. Imagine that there is a car manufacturer like Toyota or Lamborghini, Volvo. The car manufacturer, to get the finished product, to get a finished product as a car, you need a raw materials and semi-finished goods. So raw materials, you can think of like steel, aluminum, rubbers, glass, plastic resins, paint, fabrics. These are all the raw materials for automobile industry. And semi-finished goods, you can consider as engine blocks, gear shafts, chassis frames, tires. And finished product is cars, trucks, vehicles, buses. These are all finished products. To manufacture a four-wheeler, it is dependent on multiple OEMs. Like one OEM stands for original equipment manufacturer. The tires manufacturer, OEM, and there is a engine manufacturer and battery manufacturer. Let us take an example of the OEMs. OEM of the engine is a General Motors. Our tire manufacturer is a Bridgestone, and battery manufacturer is the Exide. To manufacture or to assemble the particular car, you need the material from multiple OEMs. I gave a simple example. I took three OEMs. To manufacture one car, you will be getting 125 OEMs are required. I took a simple example. There is an engine manufacturer, there's a Bridgestone and Exide. Now, if I need to manufacture 100 cars, you need to receive the material from multiple OEMs. When I say multiple OEMs, how this particular material is going to come to this my plant. Now I say, this is my plant. This is, let's say, it's a Volvo. To manufacture a plant, I need these different parts. How the material need to come. First, I need to order to the General Motors to send an engine. I need to order. When I say order, I need to raise a purchase order because I need the material. The Volvo need the material, which is engine. So that's the reason the procurement team from the Volvo will raise a purchase order, and it is informed to this General Motors that I need this particular material. Now, this General Motors has to send material to my particular plant. My plant, let us say, it is in New York, and this General Motors, let us say, it's in Japan, Tokyo. This is in US. To manufacture, now I raise the order to the General Motors. General Motors need to send the material to Volvo. In this particular scenario, I use the transportation. Transportation is the mode. Through the transportation, the material, this engine need to come from the Japan, Tokyo to the New York. To the New York, my plant. Now this transportation, how? How it can come? It can come either by sea or by road or by air, yeah, or by rail. There are other modes of transportation, as you see just now, a pipeline, etc., right? But the engine can be sent through pipeline? Impossible, right? So that's the reason I did not speak about other mode of transport. The engine can be transported either by sea or road or air or rail. Which is optimal? Which is optimal? Now, this particular, once I requested an order to this, it is called a first pillar, which is called a order. It means I ordered, right? The Volvo procurement team ordered engine from the Japan. Similarly, there is one more order, one more purchase order, raised to Bridgestone to get a tires, and one more purchase order for the Exide batteries. These all parts need to come to the Volvo New York plant to assemble the car to get this car is a finished product or finished goods. Now we are talking about just a business. Now the business is I need these particular parts from the multiple vendors or multiple suppliers. I raised an order. This is the first pillar. And the second pillar, I said, a planning, right? I ordered this. And after that, who is going to bring material? This engine and this tires and this batteries. Who is going to bring? Who is going to bring? And when is going to bring? and what mode of transport it is going to bring. These three is answered by a second pillar called a planning. Mean what? When is then what is the mode of transport? Whether this particular engine and these tires and batteries is going to come is a sea or road or rail or what mode of transport. Being an Volvo, my car manufacturing assembly line schedule is dependent on these three products. If these three products are not reached to the specific times, let's say 09/08/2025, we are in the date in IST. In IST, we are on this date, I need to produce 100 cars. It means the material, whether the engine, tires, and batteries, I need to get sometime maybe 01/08/2025. I need to plan these particular spare parts to reach my plant on time so that my assembly line schedule will not go for a task. So unless and until I get these particular parts on time, I won't be able to manufacture 100 cars, those I planned today. So when I say plan, that is the second pillar, which is called a planning. Now, third pillar, execution. Execution means this particular drive, who means a carrier, right? Who is a transporter. The carriers, I would say, you can consider the DHL, FedEx, or UPS, or DSK, or Merck. They are all the carriers who take care of the shipments. So who? These guys will go to this because already in the planning, I said, suppose say X carrier. Let's make it as a simple, DHL is a carrier. So DHL is a carrier who need to bring this engine and tires and batteries to my location. So these guys will go and load the material in the truck and bring to my location. This execution means execution, which is nothing but this is the new execution means the material is loading, this engine, tires, and batteries are loading in the truck and bringing the material to my premises. That is a third pillar, which is execution. Now, let's talk about fourth pillar. Fourth pillar, I say, just now we discussed fourth pillar is the settlement. The DHL, the purpose of the core business of the DHL is to provide the transportation services. Now these guys went to these DHL is a separate company, right? The Volvo is a separate company, General Motors is a separate company, Bridgestone, Exide, all are different enterprises. Now, as this company, as the transportation is provided by this company, this Volvo need to pay the money for the services. When I say services, transportation services rendered by the DHL. That pillar is a fourth, is called settlement. One is the order, planning, execution, and settlement. This is a core business. The transportation business is all about goes within or around these four pillars. Now, I would like to give a pause if anyone do not understand the business of the transportation functionality or the transportation business. I would like to pause here. Is it clear? Okay, silence. Fine. Now, let's. Hello, I'm audible, right? There's no issue from my side.
100%. You're audible.
Just so silent, so I thought. Okay. Now we discussed about this. Once the material is reached, then I do the production line. I manufacture the car. This we discussed. Now, all this transportation is all about goes in multiple mode of transport. Whether you goes via road transport. Now you have this is the manufacturer. Now suppose this is the plant for the General Motors, and this is the car manufacturer. How the material is, how this particular engine are coming, whether by road or sea, or it is the multiple mode. When I say multiple mode, from the one location to other location, the material, the engine first use the road transport, and road transport to rail transport, and rail transport to sea transport, and from there it could be air transport. Now, let us take one more example of the outbound scenario. Now, so far we discussed about automobile industry. Now, I would like to take an example from the retail scenario. Now, when I say retail, now let us take an Amazon. First, business is first, as my focus is more on business. First, you need to understand the business, then we go to the system. They are the fundamentals. That's the reason I'm focusing more here. Now, Amazon, the materials are manufactured in Japan, in the Tokyo, and there is a customers, those are in Osaka, who are in Japan. The distance between the Tokyo and Osaka is 397 kilometers. Whether this travel, this is the Amazon. Amazon will order the material to this industry. And then this Amazon is going to send the material to the customer. During sending the material, let us say the customer has an order, there is a sales order. The customer of Osaka has placed an order of 800, let's say 800 hard disks. Has placed an order of 800 hard disks. In this case, in SAP, we say sales order is created. Sales order is created for 800. As this 800, the sales order is created, based on the sales order in the SAP TM, there will be freight units is created. Freight units are created. Based on the freight units, the system splits each of the 400 hard disks into separate trucks. The hard disk is so big, imagine that it is split into multiple trucks. Instead of hard disks, let's say the best example would be servers. Let's take a server. 800 servers were ordered. Then this Volvo has ordered to send this particular material. The purchase order is raised here, and they will send the material to the Amazon. And from there, they will have to ship the material. Now, all the material, the 800 servers are stored in the distribution centers like this. They are the Amazon distribution centers. And from the Amazon distribution centers, these need to be sent to the customer who are in Osaka. This for 800, 400 is splitted the 400 servers in one vehicle, 400 in one vehicle, one truck, and another 400 is in a second truck. The system will split this to the multiple, and after that, the system will go and do. Once this particular material, trucks were reached to the customer, this particular freight units are created. As soon as the freight units are created, that is the first pillar, which is the order management. Then the second, this particular, who need to send this, but who is the carrier sending the material from my distribution center to Osaka? And when is that? That is all the next pillar, which is a planning pillar. And the third pillar is taking this 800 servers, loading in the truck. It means that the DHL has come to the distribution center, the gate here, and the DHL has loaded this 800. The two trucks came. One truck 400 servers are loaded, and another 400 server also loaded from my distribution center to the truck. That is called a third pillar, which is the execution pillar. After that, finally, we need to send the money. We need to settle to the DHL saying that, oh, you did a good service and you've been to the customers on the right time and right date. They have delivered to the customer. So you need to pay the money for the services those were rendered by the DHL for Amazon. So this is the another scenario which is related to the outbound scenario. Now, as we see, any questions or clarifications, I would like to give a pass.
I'm good.
Okay. Okay, fine. So thank you. And now, finally, you have a different modes of transport. As I say, you have a rail. The mode of transports, as you see, one is air shipment, another is a truck shipment, which is on road, another is rail shipment, another is sea shipment. And when you go to the truck, and the trucks are also different types of trucks which are available in the market. The standard trailers will look like this. And flatbed trailers are this kind of trailers are called flatbed trailers. The reefer trailers are specifically used for pharma and retail industries. And container trailers look like this. These trailers we call in SAP transportation, we call as resources. And similarly, if you say containers also different types of containers. One is standard shipping container, reefer containers, and tank containers. This is all part of the which mode of transport need to be sent or need to be used to send the material to the customer or to receive the material from my suppliers to my plant, which mode of transport and which type of resources need to be used. That is all part of the planning. So now, as we discuss, now let's go to the planning. Now, So far, we discussed about order, plan, execute, and settle. This is the core business of the any transportation business. Now, the transportation predominantly is a four mode of transport, goes across four mode of transport, whether air, sea, or rail, or by road. This is the typically you see the big pictures like air, road, sea, and full truckload. As we have seen the different type of trailers where you have a standard trailer, flatbed trailers, container trailers. Now the flow explanation, just now we have seen how the flow goes from sales to the transportation. What is the business case that we have seen? Now let us see, we discussed about what is the transportation. Now we are going to discuss about SAP LE-TRA. So LE-TRA is also one of the module within SAP ERP, which is a classic based transportation management module. Now it's largely replaced by SAP TM in S/4HANA. It focuses more on planning, execution, cost calculation, and monitoring of the shipment, and mostly only for outbound deliveries and inbound deliveries and stock transfers. That's how the LE-TRA. Oh, okay. So when we say and LE-TRA processes, one is the transportation planning. The purpose of transportation planning to group deliveries into shipments for optimize transportation, and during the transportation execution to execute a planned shipments, and freight cost calculation determines the transportation cost of a shipment. And when we say LE-TRA, it is introduced in SAP R3 in the 1990s as part of the logistic execution module and used for freight planning. And LE-TRA support will be ended by 2027 by SAP. That is the reason the clients who have implemented or who are already working in the LE-TRA solution need to be transitioned or migrated from the transition from LE-TRA to SAP transportation management. The key processes, as we say, transportation planning, execution, and the freight cost calculation determine the transport cost for a shipment, and also freight settlement, pay the carrier, and post to carrier accounting, and monitor and reporting. Now, when you see the scenarios, those are available in a part of the LE-TRA solution is for outbound, finished goods from warehouse to customer. In this case, we in SAP sales and distribution module will, from the sales and distribution, there will be delivery will be created, there will be transportation, LE-TRA is going to come. When you talk about inbound transportation, raw materials from supplier to plant, the material management in SAP MM will raise the inbound against the purchase order, there's inbound delivery, then transportation requirements will come where there's LE-TRA. And if you talk about stock transfers, like intercompany or intra-company stock transfers, intercompany or interplant movements, like STOs, intercompany or intra, there is STO from STO and then LE-TRA, where there is inbound shipment and outbound shipment is handled. And overseas shipment, SDMM, LE-TRA will be used for the overseas container shipments. Now let us discuss about what are the difference between LE-TRA and TM. If you see the functionalities and scope, If you take a LE-TRA, the basic transportation and delivery execution is mainly suited for single mode, make a note, mainly suited for single mode and domestic or less complex transportation node. Single mode. In a given example, just now, from moving the material from Japan to New York, there will be multiple mode of transport, right? There is a one road transport, and from there is a sea shipment or air shipment. But in LE-TRA is not supported that kind of scenario. It only can be used in one mode of transport. It means either you want to move the same scenario. If you take this scenario, moving the material from Japan to US, the engine, you can only track maybe the main shipment, like suppose air or sea. The road transport also required, because to go to the airport, the particular engine need to be first loaded in the truck, and the truck need to come to the airport. Yeah. And after coming to the US, from the airport, the truck need to be loaded. The engine need to be loaded in the truck that need to come to the Volvo plant. So in this case, the road transport is also there and sea transport is also there. But if we are working in LE-TRA, only one transport can be considered. Now, in that case, the road transport during those days, or now whoever the clients who are implemented the LE-TRA, they are using only the air shipment is updated and road shipment is cannot be tracked because there is a limitation. There is a single mode of transport. And similarly, domestic or less complex requirements, whereas the transportation management has a complex and high volume, offers robust functionality. And if you say core capabilities, here, delivery and shipment processing and freight cost management and basic carrier management is there in LE-TRA, whereas the transportation, you have a planning, optimization, carrier collaboration, costing and settlement, and real-time tracking and visibility. Real-time tracking and visibility is part of the TM. And if you talk about deployment and integration, SAP systems with some features like NS4HANA, and it has a basic integration with SAP SD and MM, whereas the transportation, it can be a standalone or integrated solution. We are going to discuss about what is meant by standalone, what is meant by integrated solution. We are going to discuss in the following slides. The standalone or integrated solution within SAP S/4HANA and can be deployed on premises or in the cloud. And also, this transportation management can be integrated with SAP EWM, ERP, and ER logistics as well. And the freight costing and settlement. When the basic LE-TRA, you have a freight costing functionality, and it does not support complex freight settlement process, whereas in the TM, you have a sophisticated freight costing with multiple cost calculation methods, manages freight settlement, including freight invoice verification. And the future roadmap and support, it is considered as a legacy solution. As I said, this LE-TRA is getting wiped out. Support will be released by 2027. Support will be stopped by SAP by 2027. That's the reason we consider this as a legacy solution. And gradually, this need to be replaced by SAP TM and S/4HANA. And SAP is encouraging and pushing hard to transition from LE-TRA to SAP TM to all the clients who are working in LE-TRA. And in the transportation management, if you see, that continues to be enhanced and developed by SAP and positioned as a SAP strategic solution for transportation and logistics. So far, we have seen what is LE-TRA and what is the transportation we have seen. We have seen what are the LE-TRA functionalities. Now let us see what we understand about the transportation by quick MCQs. What is the main objective of the transportation in supply chain?
I'd say C.
Any other? Please speak up. Yeah, I appreciate if you are
Timely
interacting.
deliveries.
So
Sorry,
moving
come.
goods from one location to another efficiently.
Okay. Any other?
Timely on-time delivery, basically.
The C1, move goods from one location to another efficiently.
Absolutely. All of you gave correct answer. The correct answer is move goods from one location to another. What is the transportation network? What is the transportation network? And just from your thought process, think about what is the transportation network.
Arrangement of routes and carriers used.
An arrangement of routes and carriers used to transport goods.
Agree.
Anyone else? Agree?
Agree.
Yeah. The correct answer is an arrangement of routes and carriers used to transport goods. And next, which of the following is a common modes of transport? Which of the following is the common mode of transportation? It's very simple.
That was funny. That was very funny.
Very funny, right?
Air,
At least
water,
you know we're reading it at least. I'll let others respond.
So the correct answer, there are three correct answers, as you know, air, water, and rail, because microwave cannot be used for the mode of transport. And next, which transport moves is generally the fastest but most expensive?
air.
Agreed.
Absolutely. Air is the correct answer. What is the role of freight forwarder? A manufacturing goods or purchasing inventory or coordinating shipments of goods on behalf of a shipper or auditing financial reports? Who is this forwarder?
C. Option C.
Any other?
Option C.
Absolutely correct. Freight forwarder is coordinating the shipment of goods on behalf of a shipper. Freight forwarder will not do manufacture, and he will not purchase inventory, or he will not do the financial reports. And moreover, the name, it's a freight forwarder. He coordinates the shipment of goods on behalf of a shipper. The jargon, the shipper, is a jargon which is very crucial for the transportation. We are going to have a deep dive on the jargon shipper. So the correct answer is anyway, the coordinating the shipment of goods. Which document is usually prepared to authorize movement of goods in transportation?
BOL.
Bill of lading.
The correct answer, yes, absolutely right. The correct answer is bill of lading. This is prepared to authorize the movement of goods for transportation. The invoice is not that authorization. Receipt no, goods issue no. It's the bill of lading is the one which you use to authorize. Which transportation activities, which transportation metric measures on-time delivery performance? Which transportation metric measures on-time delivery performance? Please
I'm
read.
guessing A.
Which one?
I'm guessing A.
A. Okay. Anyone else?
Delivery reliability.
Option B.
Okay. Anyone else?
D. Option D, order cycle time.
Mm. The correct answer is delivery reliability. Here, the metric on time delivery. On time delivery is based on the delivery reliability. We will get on time delivery performance. Now, what is the last mile delivery?
Can you go back to the previous question because it's a bit confusing to me?
Mhm.
Yeah. Which transportation metric measures on-time delivery performance? Why can't the order cycle time be used as a metric?
Because we are talking about specific delivery performance. On time delivery performance, we are talking. Order cycle time is a different. Now, specifically, the question is related to the on time delivery.
Okay, so if it would have been SLA, then the order cycle time would have taken into
Yes,
consideration.
correct. As question is related to the on time delivery, the answer is delivery reliability. Yeah. Next, what is the last mile delivery? These are the common. We did not go to the SAP. We did not go to the SAP TM. These are the normal transportation jargons which I want to
Option
understand.
C.
What is the
Option.
last mile delivery?
Option C, final leg of delivery from distribution center to customer.
Agreed.
Correct. This is the business terminology. The last mile delivery stands for final leg of delivery from distribution center to customer. Next, which transportation method is most suitable for bulk shipments of heavy goods over long distance?
Rail.
Anyone? The correct answer is rail, because the method suitable for bulk shipments of heavy goods over long distance. The correct answer is rail. And the last, what is the purpose of route optimization in transportation?
To reduce the travel distance and time.
The correct answer is to reduce. Yes, you are right. Very good. To reduce the travel distance and time. This is the correct answer. So, as we discussed about the transportation, now let us talk about infra. Infra means, for this training, what is the infrastructure required for you, and what is the infrastructure provided, and how you can use the infrastructure to test and understand the system and processes. For that, I'll be, there will be, yeah. Right. I click on Windows R and give a command msctc. Say OK. The system will take you to the remote desktop connection. You enter the computer name this. Make a note. Along with there will be email to you for the system credentials. Along with that, there will be a document how to log in into the system. Just again, I'm going a demonstration that you do not do any mistakes during login. You will not face any issues. So first you give a computer, and the system will ask you the username and password. Each one of you will get one user ID and password. This is a one-time activity. One time you enter you will be using your own user ID password. One time you log in and say OK, and then click on connect. Then the system will take you to this. The system will take you to this screen once I do the connect. The reason why I got that, because I already logged in. That's the reason. As I said, one user, one login only allowed. So that is also I have demonstrated. You won't be allowed to will not be able to use the same user ID in a multiple systems. So I logged in. That's the reason I got that error. So make sure you log into the one system. Once you log into the system, you will be having this kind of desktop. You click on, there will be log on pad. And this particular system is S/4HANA 2021 version. And you will be learning in the program in the S/4HANA transportation management in the decentralized environment, in an embedded environment. However, there will be in the program, I already set up then decentralized environment as well. It means ECC is a separate system and TM is a separate system. This is the TM system. This is the TM system. And this is the ECC system. And this is the S/4HANA system. This is the S/4HANA system. So as part of the program, you will be learning in SAP TM in an embedded environment. Plus, you will be knowing what are the differences between embedded TM versus decentralized TM. So for that particular purpose, I have built a separate servers for both of the ERP and TM. Because these, once you complete this particular training, you might get deployed in a decentralized TM. When I say decentralized TM, there is a earlier legacy, like before S/4HANA, way back 3 decades ago, when the TM started, that is only TM can be implemented only in a decentralized environment. Yeah, we don't have, during those days, we don't have any option of embedded. Now there are there is a embedded option and whereas the sidecar option, decentralized option, there are something. Now that's the reason I will be explaining about what are the difference between earlier version and the decentralized TM and the current one, which is the SAP S/4HANA TM. Now I'm logging in to the system. Okay. In this environment, you will be working in the GUI as well as Fury. This is the Fury. In the Fury, the TM, this is the transportation cockpit. In the TM, there is a single dashboard, which is called a cockpit, which you see it here in the transportation cockpit. These are the freight units and the freight orders, Gantt chart, and the schedules, resources, trucks, and drivers. These are all the part of the transportation cockpit. And how this particular transportation cockpit can be designed is with the page layout. That is also you're going to see during the program. And each of this freight unit is converted each of these freight units are converted to the freight order. Once it is converted to the freight order, you will see this checkbox means when this checkbox is mean this is already planned, and these are not unplanned. That means still the planning did not come. Now each one of the freight unit is converted to the freight order. This freight order looks like this. Now we see the order management, the freight order, and execution and settlement, which we see just now a business of the transportation business, how it works, the processes, that all we are going to see it in the system. Now, each of the freight order will have a mode of transport, like whether it's a truck or rail, road, air, etc. And what is the vehicle, and who is the carrier who is going to ship the material from source to destination. And that all in the document flow, all the data will be deflated here. There is a purchase order. Again, as the purchase order, there is an inbound delivery is created, and the freight unit and the freight order. That all you will see in the program. And each of the freight order will have a statuses like completed, executed, etc. Now, if you see the utilization, this particular freight order is called a full truckload. That's mean 100% is utilized. The capacity of the truck is fully loaded. There is a scenario called a full truckload and less than truckload. Now, this particular scenario we call as a full truckload, in short FTL. This also you will be seeing how it works, etc. And along with that, optimizer, how the optimizer works, how the manual planning works, how the optimizer works, that all you will be knowing in the program. Now, these are the stages, these are the items. In the purchase order, this is the item. Oh, this is in the purchase order, these are the items. Those are asked to the supplier. In a given example, from Volvo has requested multiple OEMs, right? Excite, General Motors, etc., on Bridgestone, etc. Those particular materials, those I requested to the suppliers. Those materials will come here, the items tab. In the business partner, this is nothing but my company. The Volvo is my company, from where to where I'm receiving the material. And this is the particular carrier who is going to help me to transport the material from Japan, General Motors, to the New York, my plant, where the Volvo is located. So that is all about the overview. You will see this is the total overview, the vehicle, freight units, etc. The all timings, this all you are going to see in the later part of the program. And you are going to work on in the Fury as well as the GUI. In the master data, you have freight, the locations, this master data, material, resource, transportation network. They are part of the master data module, which we'll be discussing in the course. This is all about the infra. I would like to pause here. Any questions related to the infra?
Sir,
Yep.
if we have to tell someone what we are using for SAP TM, so Fury and SAP GUI, what is the difference? I didn't understand.
Mhm. This is the GUI where you have the transactional data you will use, but the SAP TM majorly use the Fury. Yeah, this is the user interface where you run all the transactions. So in a nutshell, I would say for you to make the simple, all the transactional data you use in the Fury, all the configuration in the consulting where you do the configuration, being an SAP TM consultant, you use GUI. take that as a rule. And you do the configuration. This is in the GUI, the transactional data to run the business or to run the freight orders, to execute anything, you use the Fury.
Okay, so consultants use for configuration GUI, and this Fury is used by end users.
Fury, actually, consultants will do the design of the system. After designing, the consultants also need to use the Fury to test it, whatever the configuration you have done is working fine or not. So you mean you need to do it at the testing. After completion of the project, the end users will be using the Fury. You are right. And the consultants, if any changes are required in the configuration from the business side, the consultants will go to this SPRO to change and configure something.
Okay, then they will test that in Fury and then release, right?
Yeah, you have to, being in a, like you and me, we have to, once you configure, we have to test it here, all this flows. Then, yeah, clear. Okay, any other questions? Okay, silence. Okay.
Sir,
Yeah.
one query. When you mentioned the freight order, does it mean shipment number?
When you say shipment number, which shipment number you are referring to?
Okay, when I say shipment number, it means multiple orders are clubbed into one truckload and a unique number is being created for every trip. That's what I meant as shipment number. Whether
Yeah,
the freight order and shipment number are same?
You can consider as per your explanation, yes.
Got it, sir.
Sir, one question, sir.
Yeah.
So here, suppose if we are using the capacity of the vehicles like 15 tons, 20 tons, 25 tons, so various capacities of vehicles available during the transportation. So suppose if you are loading the goods, I mean, I'm sending my goods to the customer. So while loading the goods, suppose if in the 25 tons capacity of the vehicle, I just loaded for only for 20 tons. So during the settlement, we have to pay for loaded goods in simultaneously. In other case, we can shall we able to make the payment for a capacity of the vehicle also? That is, it is possible, sir. Yeah.
That is possible.
Okay.
That's all depends on how you had agreement with the carrier.
Yeah. Okay, sir.
Okay. Then
Yes,
thank
yeah.
you. Next, let's go and why you need to.
One more question from my side.
Yeah.
So just want you talked about that we are using 2021 version, right?
Yep.
So and then now it's not latest, right? By any means.
Yeah,
So why we
latest is
want
a
to talk-
2023,
Yeah.
but
So
there is not much difference between 2021 and 23.
okay.
Yeah.
So that you will be covering, right, as a part of delta changes, if there are any, as far as 21, 23.
Yeah, we'll explain. Okay, if none, okay, thank you. Now let's see why you need to join, or why you need to choose carrier in of the SAP transportation management. The first and foremost, high demand of supply chain and logistics digitalization. Companies are focusing on end-to-end supply chain visibility, and SAP TM supports IoT, AI, and automation for real-time tracking, increasing need for multimodal and global transportation planning. The example, if I would like to say, global logistics providers like DHL or FedEx use SAP TM for real-time tracking, load consolidation, and carrier selection. Growing adoption of S/4HANA TM. Many enterprises are migrating from SAP LE-TRA and SAP SCM TM to SAP S/4HANA TM. Many enterprises are migrating from SAP LE-TRA and SAP SCM TM to S/4HANA TM. And SAP TM in S/4HANA offers seamless integration with the EWM, production planning, sales and distribution, and material management. That's the reason the businesses are leveraging SAP TM embedded in S/4HANA to reduce IT landscape complexity. So example, as just we discussed something like Volvo or Volkswagen or Ford use the SAP TM for just-in-time and just-in-sequence planning. Industry-specific TM implementations. If you take retail and e-commerce industry like Walmart and Alibaba, Amazon, Tesco, Tosco, last mile delivery optimization and multi-drop shipments and order consolidation and carrier cost and SLA management is the use case for the retail and e-commerce industry. If you take about manufacturing industries like Unilever, the inbound and outbound freight planning, just-in-time transportation, and freight cost analytics are the business case for this particular manufacturing industries. If we take automotive industry like Lamborghini, Volvo, Toyota, Volkswagen, the business case for them is a supply chain synchronization, multimodal transportation planning, route optimization for cost savings. If we take a pharmaceutical industries like MSD, Pfizer, Novartis, these companies, the business case for them to implement SAP TM is a cold chain logistics, compliance with GDP, and real-time tracking of sensitive shipments. And if you take industry like oil and gas industry like BP, HP, Aramco, and chemicals industries like Chevron, ExxonMobil, these industries, the business case for them would be hazardous materials support compliance, multi-leg, multi-mode shipping. The example, Amazon, Walmart, and Unilever using SAP TM for high volume transportation planning and logistics optimization. Integration with emerging technologies. This is the next pillar. Artificial intelligence and machine learning for predictive analytics and dynamic rerouting. And IoT and telematics for real-time vehicle tracking and ETA predictions. And blockchain and smart contracts for secure and automated freight payments. And above all, GIS, Geographic Information System for intelligent route optimization. So example, if you say Merck or MSC, integrate SAP TM with IoT sensors to monitor real-time container movements. Now let's talk about important job market and career opportunities. SAP TM functional. If you take an America, US or Canada, roughly around 100K to 180K per annum. And if you take and Europe, we'll have around 80K to 190K euro. And Asia also you have a 20 to 50 lakhs INR per year you have a packages. And if you talk about future scope and TM predictions, SAP TM adoptions to grow by 2x by 2026 as companies are shifting from LE-TRA or SAP SCM TM to S/4HANA TM and rise in cloud-based TM deployments for scalability and lower TCO. and integration with AI and predictive analytics for smarter transportation planning, and increased demand for SAP TM consultants. So, example, I would say by 2026, 80% of Fortune 500 companies are expected to fully migrate from LE-TRA or SCM TM to S/4HANA TM. The final thoughts, I would say, the huge demand in industries like retail, automotive, logistics, pharma, and manufacturing, and strong career growth for SAP TM professional, functional, and technical, and integration with the latest technologies, and SAP's aggressive push towards S/4HANA migration makes SAP TM one of the most sought of after skills in the SAP market. Now, as we discussed about S/4HANA transportation, why the SAP TM? Now let's talk about day-to-day story of the TM. When we say day-to-day story, let us take an example. Let us take an example. An example, if you say the journey of Swift Logistics, the journey of the Swift Logistics, or else I would like to say, let's take an example, a simple example for now. I would like to take an example, the silent backbone. Now, silent backbone, it means a day in the life of SAP TM's transportation network. Now we have a company called as Global Fresh Foods. This particular Global Fresh Foods is in FMCG industry. The scenario for them is the business case or scenario. It belongs to FMCG industry. Case scenario. Scenario for them is daily distribution of perishable goods from regional DC to urban and rural stores. The business case for them is daily distribution of perishable goods from regional DC to urban and rural stores. In this particular scenario, this particular company, if they implement TM, let's say 8 a.m. orders placed. Released. The system receives 600 outbound deliveries from S/4HANA, and each delivery is destined for a different retail store or supermarket. Because of that, the orders triggers freight units, and freight units are created. The systems creates the freight units. As soon as it is, the system created the freight units. This is at 8 a.m. In the 8 a.m.
So could you just repeat again? 8 a.m. you received orders and then?
The system, we received the orders of the 600 outbound deliveries or released or received, and each delivery is designed for a different retail stores or supermarket. So there are 600 outbound deliveries. Each of this particular delivery is going to the different retail stores or supermarkets. They mean all the 600 going to the different retail stores or supermarkets. So the system create the freight unit, and based on the locations, zones, lanes, schedules, transportation mode and resources is part of the transportation network. The system checks the transportation network. In the transportation network, the system look into the locations, zones, schedules, mode of transport. These are all part of the master data, which you will be learning. Based on this transportation network, the system groups nearby deliveries like zone-based planning. Zone is something like you have, suppose say, let's take a globe, and across the world you can say that EMEA is one zone. Like Middle East one zone, Europe is one zone, Southern Asia, APAC is one zone. If you consider the globally, you consider each one as a zone. So if you being in personal, you see that APAC is one region, one zone, Middle East is one zone, US is one zone, Europe is one zone. That similarly, each of the client now in the global fresh also, they have created a zones for urban zones and rural zones, etc. Based on the zones, the system groups nearby deliveries based planning and optimize full truckloads and respect mode specific constraints like cold chain or dairy. If the products are dairy products, that is also will be taken care by the system. Now, as we see, one thing is our freight units are created. Now, what will happen at 10 a.m.? 10 a.m. planning begins. First pillar is order that is completed, which is 8 o'clock. Now 10 a.m. planning begins. So orders to Madrid, Valencia, Sevilla are grouped, and SAP TM finds the multi-stop route by the carrier. Here in this case, there is a freight order is created. We'll and assign a specific route and respective carrier. And also, it also takes care of the expected transit time between the multiple locations from the DC to urban or rural areas. And 4 p.m., what is going to happen? Carrier communication. We do the planning. After that, we are going to inform to the carrier that, oh, you are the one carrier. You are the carrier who will be delivering all my 600 deliveries from DC to urban stores. That communication happens at 4 o'clock. In the SAP TM, update the freight order to carriers and driver uses the mobile apps and it transit from the transportation network. And the 6 o'clock is going to happen 6 o'clock execution. Execution in each store, as each store is reached, status is updated, updates are sent, like saying that, okay, I reached to the destination. I reached to the specific store or supermarket and unloading started, delivery confirmed. That is all part of the execution. And finally, at night, 9 p.m., I do the settlement, paying the money for the carrier. So the whole story is behind scenes. You see, route optimization is done by the TM and carrier assignment, compliance, cost calculation. These are all happened behind the scene. That is the reason this is SAP TM is called as the silent backbone. So here, the transportation network is going to help to group the multiple shipments into the one route, etc. Which you see it is just from the DC, it is from DC is loaded and destination in urban or rural areas it is delivered. But between that, there is a lot of actions which are performed by the SAP TM, like transportation network and planning and career communication, execution and settlement. These are all part of the SAP TM functions. So this is called 8 AM orders, means this is the first pillar which we discussed. And the second pillar is order management planning in the execution, in the carrier also part of the planning. Third pillar we discussed is the execution, and fourth pillar is the settlement. This is the end-to-end story, which is the backbone, the silent backbone of moving the material from the distribution center to the rural areas or urban areas. Now I would like to ask any one of you to take up a business case, like from specific industry which you wish to hear the story, whether it is from the chemicals or petrochemical or the construction or the high tech or retail. Any one of you take one industry, then that we say some story, we hear some story about that industry. Anyone, please?
Like suppose if we take, I don't know which, what will be the like scenario or like retail or what, but if we take suppose example of Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola, like they are in shipper role, right? They manufacture themselves and they also maintain their logistics, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So can we take them an example if we want to look into the scenario?
It's
Like,
you can consider that as FMCG industry.
okay.
Yeah, food and
Okay,
beverage, FMCG. Let's talk
okay.
about, yeah, saying
Can we
something.
go with chemicals?
Uh,
Like Exxon, like maybe like ExxonMobil, chemical industry.
yeah, let's first come. We cannot take both. Actually, let's first complete this FMCG. Yeah, then if the time permits, then we see. Yeah, first
Okay.
come. Let's take about FMCG industry, like FMCG industry, like a powerhouse in the FMCG space, producing everything from dairy and snacks to the household cleaners. So the particular company like FMCG, like it's a beverages industry, as you said. It's a Let us take an example of because this beverage industry also has the similar attributes like shelf life, etc. So that's the reason we take FMCG industry as a Fresh Nova Foods. Fresh Nova Foods was a powerhouse of FMCG space, producing everything from dairy snacks to household cleaners, with products flying off the shelves like fast, frequent, and reliable transport across an enormous distribution network. For the challenges they have is a perishable challenges. They have a perishable and a lot of pressure during a peak hours. So they have a 30 plus plants across the globe and hundreds of distribution centers, 30 plus plants, and they have hundreds of distribution centers, 100 DCs, and a constant need for temperature sensitive and time sensitive deliveries. Temp sensitive, and time sensitive, same sensitive. Because of that, they use the SAP TM implementation. In the SAP TM implementation, what they have done, first thing is the freight units they have created by optimized transportation, optimized temperature sensitive, optimized temperature sensitive loads, and similarly grouping shipments by delivery window, region, and product type, and also ensuring the maximum retailer utilization. That is, they have done as the first in order management. Then they have done a planning. If you do the planning and optimization, planning is, as you know, is a brain of logistics. In the planning, they have consolidated deliveries from multiple plants to major distributors. And also, they have used a handling multi-drop shipments with a tight delivery SLAs. And also, they have used, they have a concept called in TM, we have called as CCP, which is the Career Collaboration Portal, and tendering. CCP and tendering is one of the functionality within the TM. In the tendering, career collaboration and tendering, where you have automated tendering to preferred carriers based on the rate and performance and digital confirmation and tracking. And they have finally, they also did the real-time tracking. Real-time tracking with the event management integration. Event management is also one of the technical module, which goes in hand in hand with the TM. With the event management integration, they have a live updates on the shipment delays, temperature breaches, and route deviations, along with proactive alerts to customer service for high priority issues. And finally, the outcome of this real-time tracking, and after that, handling promotional and seasonal peaks, handling special edge in this particular implementation is handling promotions and seasonal peaks. So better demand for forecasting tied in logistics planning and early reservation of fleet capacity before promotional peaks, and dynamic replanning to handle last last minute demand surges. Now this is the special advantage what they got. So finally, after implementing the TM for this industry, for this FMCG industry, the outcome, let us discuss about outcome or moral of the story, or you can say the outcome. Outcome is 20% reduction, 20% reduction in a freight cost within the first 8 months, and increased trailer fill rate by 25%. I mean, trailers earlier they used to send not full truckload, after like less than truckload it used to go. Now, after implementing the TM, they increase the trailer fill rate by 25% and also 98% on time in full deliveries to key retailers. Last but not least is a carbon footprint, improved carbon footprint tracking, aiding sustainability goals. The final world, this particular fresh Nova's SAP TM journey turned logistics from reactive cost center to proactive cost center, agile and strategic function. In the high velocity world of FMCG, where delays mean lost sales and shelf space, the SAP TM became the backbone for fast, smart, and reliable transport. Fast and reliable transport. This is the story of FMCG industry. Now, what is the other industry? Someone asked. I don't. What is that other one? Chemical, I believe. Is it? Okay. No speak.
Yes, it's chemical. Yes, it's
Yeah,
chemical.
yes, chemical.
Okay. Let us take a industry like a chemical industry. So when we say the chemical industry, let us take industry of chemical and petrochemical industry. Chem and Petro. Chem and petrochemical industry is one of the most complex and highly regulated sectors when it comes to transportation and logistics. Like there is a one company like, let us take Chemex Global. Chemex Global, a leading manufacturer of industrial chemicals, crude oil deliveries, crude oil derivatives, and special petrochemical, face significant logistics challenges in moving hazardous material across its global supply chain. The major challenges what they got is major challenges is a complex multimodal transport. Shipments requires trucks, rail, multimode. Major challenges for them is the multimodal transport. They need a trucks, rail, sea, and pipeline shipments. And also they have a hazmat material. Hazmat, which require strict safety and compliance regulations. And also they have a bulk versus packaged chemicals. Bulk versus packaged chemical logistics. Inefficient planning led to wasting capacity. So for them, they've implemented TM. After they've implemented TM as a step one, they did ensuring the safe transport of hazardous. First, they have done a safe transport of hazardous. Ensure safe transport. What they have done, safe transport for hazardous chemicals, transporting hazardous materials like flammable gases, corrosive liquids, and toxic chemicals required strict compliance with global safety regulations like REACH, DOT, ADR, ITA. With the SAP TM dangerous goods movement and compliance automation, automatic hazmat classification based on regulatory rules, restricted selection for certified transporters, because not all transporters are allowed to transport the hazmat materials because they need certified transporters. And impact of using this safe transport of hazardous chemicals as the first step, impact is 99% compliance with hazardous material transport laws and reducing safety risk. That's the first step what they did. And the second step is multimodal transport. Multimodal transport. In the multimodal transport, they have given AI-driven mode selection to choose the cheapest and fastest transport route. And also they did a rail to truck and pipeline integration with seamless handovers and dynamic rerouting in case of port congestion. Because of implementing this multimodal transport, they reduced the transportation lead time by 35%. And next, what there is freight cost automation, freight cost optimization, freight cost optimization. In the freight cost optimization, they did automatic freight tendering to select the best carrier for each shipment and real-time rate comparison. By doing this real-time rate comparison and automatic freight tendering, they got freight costs are reduced by 30%, saving millions in transportation expenses. By using these functions, the results of this particular company is after 6 months, what they got is after 6 months, improved hazardous material compliance and reduced regulatory fines and faster shipments with optimized and multimodal transport planning and cost savings in freight, fuel, and carrier selection, and higher capacity utilization, reducing unnecessary tips. That is the moral of the story if the chemical or a petrochemical industry has implemented, because to have as they have challenges of the multi-mode and HAZMAT and bulk versus packaged material. Now, let us talk about SAP TM. Now, as you see, the SAP.com, go to the products. In the SAP products, one of the product is a supply chain management. Within the supply chain management, you have a sub-product as a supply chain logistics. In the supply chain logistics, there are totally 5 solutions within the supply chain logistics. One of the solution is the EWM, transportation management, yard logistics, and there are 2 more solutions, which is a global track and trace and business network for logistics. Out of those 5 solutions within the supply chain logistics, these are the only 3 solutions. Those are available on-prem. Rest of the 2 are the cloud solutions only. So as part of my program, I deliver the trainings in all of them. Out of that, now you are in the program of the SAP Transportation Management. To understand what's going on, go to this portal and check about the transportation. Now the transportation on-premise solution talks about multimodal transportation. Yes, we have seen the road, ship, etc. Road, ship, air, rail, etc. that is supported by SAP TM. Now let us talk about introduction of the SAP TM. The transportation is considered the backbone of the global supply chain. Essentially, no daily process works well without the use of transportation service behind the scenes. Now, just now we have discussed about one of the example of a silent backbone, right? Similarly, without the transportation, no daily process works well without the use of transportation service behind the scenes. Whether it is a manufacturing goods from procured components, or shipping goods from on-site online store, or restocking groceries in your future supermarket, or you are taking the fuel for our cars, or buying toys for Christmas gifts. Without transportation in the background, this all is going to falter. The SAP Transportation Management is a comprehensive solution to optimize streamline and is part of the logistics suite, integrate with SAP modules like EWM, Add Logistics, end-to-end logistics business platform. SAP TM helps businesses to plan, execute, and optimize processes within the supply chain. It enables organizations to manage all modes of transport, supports end-to-end process like order consolidation, route optimization, selection, and you also has a forwarding order parties, freight bookings, tender process. These are all the activities those are supported in the SAP TM. Now, as we already seen, what is the TM? Now, let's talk about other 4 Ws of the TM. Who uses the TM? TM industries, like businesses and all sizes of industries, like SAP TM used by companies across industries such as manufacturing, retail or logistics, consumer goods, and energy that needs streamline their transformation, streamlines the transportation and logistics operations. And also supply chain and logistics teams like SAP TM is typically used for supply chain managers, planners, logistics coordinators. And when we use the SAP TM during a transportation planning and execution, as is employed for planning the most efficient and cost-effective routes. If you take about retail and consumer goods example, a major retail chain with multiple distribution centers and retail outlets use the SAP TM to manage the outbound delivery of goods and stores. And why we use? To reduce the transportation cost and real-time tracking, and where we use the TM, where we use the TM, warehouses in production, warehouses and production facilities, where SAP TM supports both domestic and international logistics, handling multiple modes of transport and integrating global carriers. and we talk about industry vertical. Let us take a pharma industry. As we discussed, the pharma industry like Pfizer, MSD, Novartis, Johnson & Johnson, etc. These pharmaceutical companies use the SAP TM to manage the transportation of temperature-sensitive drugs from manufacturing site to distribution centers. And hospitals. And SAP TM supports integration with IoT sensors and monitor temperature humidity. The benefits of implementing TM for the pharmaceutical industry is the real-time monitoring of temperature-sensitive shipments, helps prevent spoilage and maintain product quality, and route optimization ensures the fast delivery and automated compliance of documentation for regulated transport conditions. If you take retail and e-commerce, retail and consumer goods industry, a major retail chain like Walmart, with multiple distribution centers with retail outlets, use SAP TM to manage the outbound delivery of goods to the stores. And SAP TM optimizes delivery routes, consolidates loads, and assigns the appropriate carriers based on service level agreements. The key benefits of this retail and consumer goods is the real-time visibility of routes, reduce transportation cost, and ensure timely stock replenishment. Similarly, if you take the chemicals and petrochemical industry, a petrochemical company uses the SAP TM to transport chemicals from refineries to distribution centers and customers, and SAP TM compliance with the safety features allow the company to adhere to strict regulatory requirements for hazardous material transportation. The key benefits for this industry is advanced routing ensures the efficient transport, and compliance documentation helps with regulatory audits, minimizing the disruptions. Similarly, if you take energy and utility industry, they use the TM to transport large equipments, materials, and fuel supplies to remote job sites for power plant construction and maintenance. The benefits what they'll get is optimized route planning, special handling, and regulatory requirements. Now with this, I would like to wind up session for today, and I would like to open a forum for if any questions or clarifications. Hello. Yeah. Yes, please. Floor is yours.
So the sessions would be every Saturday and Sundays, right? Only weekends, right?
Yep.
And it would be for 2 hours?
Actually, it's planned for 2.5 hours. But as it's first day, I'm closing for 2 hours.
Okay.
2.5 hours. We'll take a break around maybe 5-10 minutes in between, probably.
Yeah. And then you're planning to start it's already started. So tomorrow also would be the session, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Sir, two questions, sir. Sir, in our SAP transport management system, suppose if I'm from India, I'm just forwarding, I'm just shipping the goods from India to China. So in that, from my goods from plant to through plant to through vehicle, I am sending first. That is a first route, and second route I'm through rail. From that, it is taking into the air travel. So three type of transportations included here. First in one is the vehicle transportation, another one is the rail transportation, another one is finally is the air. So we can able to cover, no sir, in this transport management system from consolidated, we can able to track the shipment, no sir, in the single shipment itself.
This one, the scenario which you narrated is called a multi-mode transport.
Yeah.
That's a part of the SAP TM capability or function.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks. So another one, we can able to calculate the freight settlement through kilometer wise also, no, sir. Let us
Yes.
example. Yeah. On that point. Thank you. Yeah.
Sir,
Yes,
this
Yokumar.
this TM covers both outbound as well as inbound logistics, right? In the
Yes.
same module.
Yes.
Okay.
That is the reason in the example, when I trying to talk about the transportation process flow, I have taken automobile industry for the inbound, and outbound I have taken a retail industry.
Yes, sir. Thanks.
Sir, how long this course will run? Means we started in this week, so
It takes 2
when by
months.
will
Takes 2
2
months.
Sir, after completion of this course, we can able to, write the SAP certification also, right, sir?
Yeah, I urge all of you to complete the certification post this training actually, which definitely help you to get a better career.
Yeah, fine, sir, fine.
And sir, what are
I'll
the
guide you
materials that would be shared with us?
Materials, this all the recordings will be shared. Yeah, every day.
And how about the books?
Yeah, books will be shared later the program. Yeah,
Okay,
for the certification, hopefully you are referring to.
that's correct, sir.
Okay. Yeah, post the that's a part of once you complete, then you go through the material, and I'll guide you about the certification. Yeah, that. Next.
Sir, are we covering this little bit technical side of SAP that is required for TM integration like that?
Actually, I am not into technical. I'm pure functional. Even I don't think that I need technical to delivery. Actually, I do not see you need to know the technical, and even I cannot. I'm not a technical guy,
No,
and it's
that is
enough for you.
required. Yeah, required for like this. You said right. This we have to work with multiple system. So how does that happen? So from functional, I want to know.
Yeah, from functional side, whatever required, that is a that will be covered.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, looks like none. Thank you, and have a great Saturday. Bye bye.
You too. Bye-bye.
Thank you.